Hello everyone, my name is Manohar. I'm a data science trainer and consultant. Today we are going to discuss about natural language processing and its current and future roadmaps. Let me tell you agenda for this discussion. In this discussion, we are going to discuss what is natural language processing, and then we discuss applications of natural language processing. After that, we discuss sentiment analysis, speech recognition. Later, we discuss about evaluation of natural language processing, and in the end, we discuss future of natural language processing. Firstly, let us know what is natural language processing. Natural language processing is a field of artificial intelligence that gives the machines ability to read, understand, and derive the meaning from human languages. Everything we express, either verbally or written, and carries huge amounts of information. To generate the information, we choose the topic of a tone or selection of words. Everything adds some type of information that can be interpreted and values extracted from it. In theory, we can understand and even predict human behavior using that information. But there is a problem. One person may generate hundreds or thousands of words in a declaration, each sentence with its corresponding complexity. If you want to scale and analyze several hundreds, thousands, or millions of people declaration in a geography, then the situation is unmanageable. Data generated from conversations, declarations, or even tweets are examples of unstructured data. Unstructured data doesn't fit neatly into the traditional row and column structure of relational databases and represent the vast majority of data available in the actual world. It is messy and hard to manipulate. Nevertheless, thanks to the advances in discipline like machine learning, a big revolution is going on regarding this topic. Nowadays, it is no longer about trying to interpret a text or a speech based on its keywords, but about understanding the meaning behind these words. This way, it is possible to detect figures of speech or even perform sentiment analysis. It is discipline that focuses on the interaction between the data science and human language and is scaling a lot of industries. Today, natural language processing is booming thanks to the huge improvements in the access of data and increase in computational power, which are allowing practitioners to achieve meaningful results in areas like healthcare, media, finance, and human resource, among others. Let us discuss in which areas we are using natural language processing. In speech recognition, sentiment analysis, question answering, chatbots, text to classification, machine translation, spell check. We are using natural language processing in these various applications. Let us discuss one by one. Firstly, let me explain machine translation. Everyone knows what is manual translation. We translate information from one language into another. When the same thing is done by machine, we call that as machine translation. The idea behind machine translation is simple: to develop computer algorithms to allow automatical translation without human intervention. The best known application is probably Google Translate. Google Translate is based on SMT, statistical machine translation. It is not the work of word for word replacement alone. Google Translate gathers as much as text it can find that seems to be parallel between two languages, and then it processes the data to find the likelihood that something in language. And this is similar to us. When we were children, we begin to assign semantic values to words and abstract and extrapolate these semantic values given combination of words. But all that glitters is not gold, and machine translation is challenging in the given inherent ambiguity and flexibility of human language. While human cognitive process, language interpretation or understanding and translation on many levels, a machine processes data from linguistic form to structure, not meaning and not sense. Next, marketing intelligence. Marketers also use natural language processing to search for people with a likely or explicit intention to make a purchase. Behavior on the internet, maintaining pages on social networks, and queries to search engines provide a lot of useful unstructured customer data. Selling the right ad for the internet users allows Google to make the most of its revenue. Advertisers pay to Google every time for the visitors to click on the ad. A click can cost anywhere from a few cents to more than $50. Next, spell check. A software spell check that checks for misspelling in a text. Spell checking features are often embedded in services such as word processor, email content, electronic dictionary. Next, text classification. Text classification, also known as text tagging or text categorization, is the process of categorizing the text into organized groups. By using natural language processing, text classifiers can automatically analyze text and then assign a set of predefined tags or categories based on its content. Unstructured text is everywhere, such as emails, chat conversations, websites, and social media, but it's hard to extract values from this data unless it's organized in a certain way. And also, it is difficult and expensive process since it required spending time and resources to manually sort the data or creating handcrafted rules that are difficult to maintain. Text classifiers with natural language processing have proven to be a great alternative to structured textual data in fast, cost-effective, and scalable way. Text classification is becoming an increasingly important part of business as it allows easily getting insights from data and automating business processes. Let us discuss about sentiment analysis. Sentiment analysis is the interpretation and classifications of emotions such as positive, negative, and neutral within text data using text analysis techniques. Sentiment analysis allows businesses to identify customer sentiment towards products, brands, or services in online conversations and feedback. A basic task in sentiment analysis is classifying the polarity of a given text or the document, sentence, or feature whether the expressed opinion in a document. A sentence or an entity feature is positive, negative, or neutral. In advance, beyond polarity, sentiment classification looks, for instance, at emotional states such as angry, sad, and happy. Consider an example to understand what is sentiment analysis and all. If a businessman wants people's opinion on the product, he can't read all the reviews. With ratings he can find, but some people give 4 points out of 5, but they are not satisfied. To find that type of person's opinion on product, natural language processing will help for us. This process is called sentiment analysis. By using sentiment analysis, you will know how customers feel about different areas of your business without having to read thousands of customer comments at once. If you have thousands or even 10,000s of service responses per month, it is impossible for one person to read all the responses and have an unbiased and consistent measure of customer sentiment. By using sentiment analysis and automating this process, you can easily get into different customer segments of your businesses and get a better understanding of sentiment in these segments. Precursors to sentiment analysis including a general inquirer which provided hints toward quantifying patterns in text, and separately psychological research that examined a person's psychological state based on analysis of their verbal behavior. A different method for determining sentiment is the use of scaling system, whereby words commonly associated with having a negative, neutral, or positive sentiment with them are given an associated number on a -10 to +10 scale most negative up to most positive as simply from 0 to positive upper limit such as +4. This makes it is possible to adjust the sentiment of a given term relative to its environment. When a piece of unstructured text is analyzed using natural language processing, each concept in the specified environment is given a score based on the way sentiment words related to the concept and its associated score. This allows movement to a more sophisticated understanding of sentiment because It is now possible to adjust the sentiment value of a concept related to modifications that may surround it. For example, that intensify, relax the sentiment expressed by the concept can affect its score. Alternatively, text can be given a positive and negative sentiment strength score if the goal is to determine the sentiment in a text rather than the overall polarity of the strength of the text. Next, let us discuss about the polarity and subjectivity. Polarity, Polarity is the percentage of negativity and percentage of positivity of a product to the customer. And subjectivity, it is expressed personal opinions of a person towards the product. Next, let us discuss about speech recognition or else voice recognition. Speech recognition software works by breaking down the audio of a speech recording into individual sounds, analyzing each sound using algorithms to find the most probable word fit in that language and transcribing those words into text. Speech recognition software uses natural language processing and deep neural networks. Natural language processing is a way for computers to analyze, understand, and derive meaning from the human language in a smart and useful way. This means that the software breaks the speech down into bits. It can interpret, converts it into digital format, and analyzes the pieces of content. From there, the software makes determinations based on programming and speech patterns, making hypotheses about what the user is actually saying. After determining what the user most likely said, the software transcribes the conversation into text. Next, let us discuss why do chatbots need natural language processing. Chatbots are increasingly becoming common and a powerful tool to engage online visitors by interacting with them in their natural language. Earlier, websites used to have a live chat where agents would do conversations with the online visitors and answer their questions. But it's absolute now when the websites are getting high traffic and it's expensive to hire agents who have to be work for 24 by 7 hours. Training them and paying their wages would be a huge burden on the business. Chatbots would solve the issue by being active around the clock and engage the website visitors without any human assistance. Natural language processing based chatbots can understand the customer query written in their natural language and answer them immediately. Natural language processing and other machine learning technologies are making chatbots effective in doing the majority of conversations easily without human assistance. Users would get all the information without any hassle by just asking the chatbots in their natural language, and chatbot interprets it perfectly with an accurate answer. Let us discuss about the evaluation of natural language processing. First, let me explain cosine similarity. Cosine similarity is a useful measure if you want to consider duplicates when comparing the textual documents. We can compute cosine angle between the two documents to estimate how similar the documents are. The key to note is that the smaller the angle, the bigger the cosine value and more similar to two documents. The words can be converted into non-zero vectors by using number of text mining algorithms such as term frequency and inverse document frequency and bag of words as an instance. Come to the Jaccard similarity. The Jaccard similarity index, sometimes called Jaccard similarity coefficient, and compares members for two sets to see which members are shared and which are distinct. Its measure of similarity for two the sets of data with a range from 0% to 100%. The higher the percentage, the more similar the two populations. And next, come to the perplexity. Perplexity means inability to deal with or understand something complicated or unaccountable. Thus, perplexity metric in natural language processing is a way to capture the degree of uncertainty a model has in predicting some text. And come to the word error rate. Word error rate is a common metric of the performance of speech recognition, or machine translation. The general difficulty of measuring performance lies in the fact that the recognized word sequences can have a different length from the references word sequences. Next, let us discuss about the future of natural language processing. In future, human and machines are very close friends. They will communicate as like relatives. As technology progresses, natural language processing will continue advancing in combination with machine learning. For instance, newer, smarter chatbots are being used deep learning to analyze human response inputs and generate a response accordingly. For music lovers, it means that music systems will learn to play songs based on an individual's most recent playlist. Natural language processing is also expected to offer more comfort to human beings when combined with IoT applications such as smart homes, which will allow humans to use their voice to control smart appliances. The true key to unlocking the future of natural language processing is natural language generation, which will allow human machines to mine massive quantities of numerical data, identify patterns, and share that information in a manner comprehensible to humans. The implementation of natural language generation and related artificial intelligence tools will allow businesses to manage and use such large volumes of data effectively. Until recently, media companies struggled tremendously with generating content to their audiences for finding relevant, interesting, and informative. But with the employment of natural language generation, many media organizations are beginning to transform information about various events into comprehensible stories. This process can save writers time and allows them to focus on their important tasks. Beyond the media industry, natural language generation is anticipated to be used in banking, financial services, insurance, retail, government, and healthcare for appliances such as fraud detection, predictive maintenance, risk and compliance management, and customer experiences management. Recent advances in artificial intelligence and natural language processing are actively revolutionizing communication between humans and machines, and even more routine human tasks are expected to be automated in the coming years. Driven by the exponential growth in data, the increased focuses on exceptional customer experiences, and the large of smart devices, natural language processing has become a reality of daily life and has proven to be one of the most significant technologies advancement across all the industries in recent decades. Finally, I conclude that natural language processing is helps to communicate with machines in human languages. Natural language processing gives polarity and subjectivity of a person. At the time of emergency, chatbots will give the information of first aid to the customer. With this, I would like to end this webinar, and I really appreciate your precious time and participation. Looking forward to meet you all once again in my next webinar with lots of interesting facts and information for your career. Once again, thank you all and my best wishes.